Everybody wanna be black until it's time to file them taxes. Until it's time to walk into their job interview and your skin color don't grant access. Damn, everybody wanna be black. We athletic, make cool dances. But everybody tell the black man be quiet when he's strong and he take tough stances. Everybody wanna be black. When you're black, you influence everything in the coach.
This is episode 2 with Mr. Anthony Murray, who is going to be bringing in financial literacy, financial empowerment. And I know that you're wondering how come money and mental health is going hand in hand. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times, if you don't have enough money, you're stressed, right? Money stresses you out if you don't have enough of it. And oftentimes, you're working to pay the bills, you're working and you're trying to put all of your eggs in one basket. And sometimes you just don't have enough money towards the end of the month, or you got too much money and not enough money. And so if you can, please go ahead and post a comment, post a $sign in the comment, share and like this to your friends and to others who may be in need of listening on ways to address these topics, which is budget, debt, life insurance, and investments, as well as savings. These are some of the things that we're going to touch bases on. And so again, I want you to put a $sign in the comments and share this with friends, loved ones, and uncle or brother on episode 2 during the MENDay Monday series. And so without further ado, I want to bring in our special guest, Mr. Anthony Murray. How you doing, Mr. Murray?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I had a little gadget issue where I could not be heard, and so I definitely appreciate the update from the behind the scenes to let me know that I had it on mute. And so, but I definitely appreciate you for joining us, Mr. Murray. I thank you for your time, and I know that, you know, some may have asked, how come we have money and mental health mixed together? And that's a simple question, because money can contribute to stress. Money can contribute to a lot of things, especially when you don't have enough of it, or if you have too much and you don't know what to do with it. And so
Right.
I definitely would love to have your take and your insight on things regarding money and how to live and ways to work through the lifestyle of money. And so with that, I want to ask you this, and again, I definitely appreciate you for coming in. And for those of you who are just tuning in and just viewing, we have Mr. Anthony Murray, who has a list of all of his attributes and accomplishments and all of the things that he has contributed and looking to contribute to the audience. Because again, this is for men, and not just men, but women. You can chime in, you can be a part of it as well. But we're going to address money and mental health. And Mr. Murray has, this way of being able to articulate the importance of money and how to actuate investments, how to get out of debt, how the importance of life insurance, and all of these things that are necessary in order for us to be able to manage money and manage mental health. And so, Mr. Murray, I want to start off with just a basic question, because I know that you're a pastor. You mentioned that you are a psalmist. You mentioned as well that you're a financial empower, and you're also an author, right? You're an author of a book that you wrote, which is The Declaration of Power, right? The power of death. And so earlier, before we started and got into the show, we talked about money. Mm-hmm. And you said something very key that I thought was extremely brilliant. You talked about money and legacy. And mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you and pick your brain in this light. What is money?
Money is just a means of exchange. You're going to give me something, I'm going to give you something in exchange for what you give me. All right. Years ago, before a currency became popular, it may have been a goat. You give me a cow, I give you 3 goats. All right. I need some chicken. All right. You give me a egg laying chicken or a breeding chicken, and I'll give you some hay for your horses. All right. And then they came out with um, coins. I mean, coins was extremely important, but they used gold, they used silver, and then they used bronze, and then it went from there to finance or paper. All right, so and then they started backing the paper with the gold, so it was always extremely valuable. The gold was, or the means of exchange. That's really what it is. Now, what we did, unfortunately, when it comes to legacy, is we made money the legacy in the black community. That's the area where we have left or lost it or not understood it. All right, we haven't really understood legacy. All right, legacy deals with four areas: spiritual, psychological, physical, then it deals with the means of exchange. Healthy legacy develops healthy habits. Spending is a habit, saving is a habit. Understanding what to do when someone comes into the possession of a vast amount of money comes from psychological legacy. They are taught. They just don't learn from school. They're taught. It is embedded in them. It's passed on from generation to generation.
That's that, and this is the thing that I see a lot on certain platforms.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about generational wealth,
Mm-hmm.
right? We hear that a lot on screens. We hear that a lot on these devices. We hear that a lot in these streaming platforms. And we always talk about we got to get the bag. We got to get the bag. But when you hear that, then those influencers will tell you to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm always going by the notion that you have to carve your own path, right? And a lot of times we tend to go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And with hearing that oh, you got to get the bag and generational wealth, and for you to say that money is not legacy, it goes against the grain of what
Mm-hmm.
influencers and society tells us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because legacy and generational wealth, that, and for you to say that money, is not legacy, it reframes that. it,
Mm-hmm.
it really reframes that. And so for individuals who experience that, and we, with generational wealth, how would you define generational wealth?
Generational wealth, and in the book of Anthony, in the book of Anthony, all right, generational wealth starts with understanding something. That's wealth. The second key to generational wealth is understanding the application of
So let me ask you this, Mr. Murray,
Hmm.
regarding, and I wanna take a turn and ask you about, because then y'all know we mentioned wisdom, wealth, generational wealth.
Yep.
Um, can can you tell me about? Because I know we also talked about investments and
Yeah.
401k and
Yeah.
getting into things like that, because I
Yeah.
would say when I got into my job, they were offering 401k, they were
401k.
offering things regarding like
Hmm.
IRA and Roth and all of those terms and things I did not understand. Can you enlighten the audience and inform them about the difference between 401k, IRA, and how that entire investment situation works?
Sure. Sure. All right. So when you go on a job and the first thing they want to offer you a 401k, after your probation period, whatever. All right. First thing about the 401k, if you're going to get into a 401k, maximize whatever amount they allow. So if they say, listen, the most you could put in is this amount, if you could afford to do that, put in that amount. If they say the most you could put in per paycheck is $75, then do that. If they say the most you could put in per paycheck is 150, then do that. Maximize it. That's when you're going to realize the benefit of it. What a lot of people don't understand when it comes to a 401k is that there are fees involved.
Mm.
So, not the company you're working for, they're not going to charge you a fee. Whatever company they have managing that 401k, they charge a fee. And they're not charging it to the company you're working for, they're charging it to you. It's an individual account. All right. Um, so 401k has a lot of value if it's worked right, but you better keep something in mind. You have a fee. You don't know what that fee is. You need to find out. The average 401k fee ranges anywhere from 18 to 27.5% or 28%. Most of them are in the mid 20s to 25, 27, 28, 29. That's the average, okay? What you don't know is this. When you leave that company, that 401k can go with you to the next company that's offering you a 401k. You could do what is called a rollover, or 401k is what we call a qualified account. Qualified means it's qualified to be taxed when you use the money. All right? It is not pre-taxed money. This is accumulating earnings for you on a tax deferred basis. So you're not paying any tax on that money. Now, if you take that money out and you want to spend it because you want to bring your little boo on a vacation, or you want to buy something, or you just got mad at that company and you're going to take your money, if you are not 59 and a half years old, and you better be 59 and a half, none of this, well, you know what? My birthday's in 9 months. You are not 59 and a half. It has to be 6 months and 1 day. Hello, 6 months and 1 day. Then now that's 59, 6 months and 1 day. Now you are 59 and a half. If you are not 59 and a half, there's going to be a 10% penalty. That's the government. The other thing you don't know is the tax rate. When you get ready to leave that company or retire, what's the current tax rate? Do you know that tax rate? So you have the fee you pay the company, the tax rate, and if you leave before, if you touch that money before 59 and a half, now you have a 10% penalty. That could range all that up, added up together, could range anywhere from 45 to 60% of your money. So you have, let's say you have $300,000 saved up in your 401k. Between the money you saved and the money they gave you, and you add that baby together, right? 45%, or let's just say 40% of 300,000. That's 4 times 3 is $120,000 gone. Just say bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. 120,000. All right, that's before 59 and a half. After that, whatever the current tax rate is, plus your fee. All right, so that's something you have to be aware of. You could roll that money over into an account where you will not have to be penalized. You don't have to put in another 401k. You just need to put it in the same type of deferred interest bearing account, which means it has to be another qualified account. That account where it's to be taxed when you take the money out. All right. So if you do that, then you won't have to pay the penalty. Now, I've heard two different thoughts on this. Some say, well, you're going to suffer the penalty of 10%. I spoke with the regional vice president of a company that we deal with. He said, no, you will not suffer the 10%. Unless you go from a qualified to be taxed to a non-qualified, then you're going to suffer the penalty, because although they both have deferred interest earning, one is pre-tax money, that's the non-qualified, then the other one is qualified. All right, so there's so many variables involved. I like to sit down with the person and talk with them one-on-one to find out what that, because most people they don't even know. Most people, brother, they don't even know what they have, man. They don't know. Most people don't know. They hey, that's my money. Give me my money. They don't know about the penalty. They get mad. They cuss the people out. That's not going to change anything. The law is the law. You have to know what you're doing.
And that's why I definitely appreciate you for being here to bring clarity on that, because even when I started working, I went through a lot of stress, because even when I left a job, I had money invested. And then I was like, you know what? I want to take all of my money and I want to put it into my own pocket, because I want to do my own investing. But little did I know, when you talked about taxes and fees, I was being penalized, 3 times over. And by the time I actually received my money, it was astronomically less. And that's why I brought in money and mental health, because that really impacted me. I was going through, a lot of frustration. I was angered. I was confused. I'm like, but that's my money I work for. And then the state taking the money, the agency taking the money, and, all of those things. And so and that's why I believe it's almost paramount that we have the education on this, so that we don't become undone and out of sorts. And so I want to move on to ask you this as well, Mr. Murray. After talking about the investments and things like that, and in our community, we say we budget, we say we go through those processes of being able to know how to manage our funds and money, and we have Netflix, we have Paramount, Hulu, Prime Video, we have we want to buy Jordans at the end of the day, we want to put money into our hobbies and things that we love, and all of a sudden we turn around because we swiping cars, we using Cash App, and going through all of these monetary streams, where we're not able to see the money leaving our hand, because it's leaving electronically. Now, how in a world of social media and internet and all of the electronics, how do we budget? What is a budget? What does that look like for the average person that's watching or viewing? What do we mean by budgeting?
Well, budget to a lot of people it can mean different things to different people. But what I will say when it comes to budgeting, what you want to do that I recommend is you want to take at least a 30-day period, maybe 60-day period. 30 days should do it. Get yourself a shoebox or a bag, and every penny you spend, you want to get that receipt, put it in the bag or the box. All right. At the end of the month, you want to categorize and see where that money is going. If you're spending a lot of money on soda, a lot of money on McDonald's, or hey, don't forget about the different things you mentioned, because we're swiping now, right? We're swiping. I know people that even though they swipe, I remember I was at the store and this lady, she swiped their card, took out her checkbook register and wrote it down. We don't do that today. Kids don't even know what a checkbook register is. Matter of fact, most kids don't even know what a checkbook is. All right? Because they're not using them. They're using the card. So what do you need to do? You need to either write it down, what you spent, a ledger, make a ledger of what you spent, or you could put it in a bag. Now, I have a form that I use when I help people out. We do what we call a professional financial strategy to help people see where their money is going. Matter of fact, we offer free financial literacy workshops. Doesn't cost you a penny. They're online. They're free. All right, did I say free? Yeah, they're free. Only thing you would pay for would be the textbook and the workbook. That's it. Between the two, they cost you $10. That's it, $10. And I was telling our gracious host that anyone who really want the textbook, I will send you the PDF file. I'll send it to you free of charge, and you'll have it. We use this textbook, and it talks about taxes, talks about everything you can think of. All right, and including budgeting. It talks about budgeting. So what do I encourage people to do? Find out where your money is going. That's the first thing. If you don't know where your money is going, there's no way you can put a Band-Aid on it. You need to know where your money is going. That's why you want the receipts. It is a inconvenience, but do it anyway. All right. So I teach people first thing, we lay a foundation. Foundation is protect yourself. Make sure you have proper protection, life insurance. Second thing is debt management. We need to get you out of debt. And I teach people how to get out of debt. We teach them a simple concept called debt roll-up. Debt roll-up, very easy. Then the third thing I teach people is how to have money in the reserve or emergency funding. All right. And then the last thing is investment. What we do, especially in our community, we have extra money. First thing we do is either spend it or invest it. We don't even look at the other picture. All right. And so what is budgeting? What is budgeting? All right. Budgeting is knowing where your money is going. How much are you giving to the church? How much are you spending out at dinner? My wife and I, man, we looked at that one day. We didn't have any children, right? Check this out, brother. We had no children. It was just her and I. So we didn't cook breakfast at home. On the way to work, we picked up breakfast. Guess what? When we were hungry, we didn't bring lunch to work. You know what we did? We went out and bought lunch. We got hungry on the way home. My wife didn't know it was cooked. She didn't have time. She was working full time. So guess what we did? We bought dinner. We went to the restaurant, bought dinner. We added all that up one time. We found out we were spending in excess of $10 to $20 for breakfast, $15 to $30 for lunch, $30 to $50 for dinner a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week. So when we added that up, we found out we were spending close to $400 to $500 a week when we could have bought groceries, cooked, and ate leftovers or
And so,
made sandwiches.
and I'm sorry to cut you off. And speaking of that, Mr. Murray, when you found out that amount of money was being spent just, unconscionably, right?
Mhm.
Just, and I mean, I'm sure some
Yeah.
of it may have been compulsive spending where it was planned. Okay, we're going to have lunch here. We're going to go stop there. And some of it may have been impulsive, just
Yeah.
sporadic and unplanned. And when you came to and you realized that you were spending that amount of money per week that added up and calculated and computed to per month, what
Mhm.
was the mindset or the thought? Was it frustration? Was it anger? Did you kick yourself? What happened after that all came to light?
Brother, let me tell you what, man. I kicked myself in the behind. I said, man, really? We were spending this much money? You know what you mentioned earlier about stress and the lack of money, so forth and so on. It was like a weight off my shoulders when we realized what we were doing and what we needed to do. Man, that was like $1,600 a month.
That you were saving,
1,600, huh?
that you started saving.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't have to spend that anymore. So,
So how did
you
you, so how
go
did you
ahead.
get to that point when you okay? I want to digress and ask you, when you started
Yeah.
spending that, what was it? What was the sign? What was the moment of it all saying, you know what? We got to do something different. What was it that hit you or brought you to that type of insight and awareness that something needed to change financially? Because it may have possibly been affecting you, your mood, your interaction, your family lifestyle, and performance at work because money was coming in, but it was going out faster than it was coming in. When was that moment that you realized, you know what, we got to do this? Something that has changed. What step did you take?
I changed jobs, or my wife changed jobs. I forget, and there was a decrease in money, and we said, all right, we need to see where the money is going. We need to look at where this money is going now. And when we begin to do that, after that decrease, we said, oh my God. So we were trying then to become better money stewards. All right. Keep in mind, spending money is a habit. It's a habit learned through the wisdom of smart marketing. So when we look at commercials, what do they tell you to do? You drive by a billboard, what do they tell you to do? You go window shopping, what do they tell you to do? When you're at the counter and they have all these little niceties set up at the counter, what is that suggesting to you? It's speaking to the subconscious. Hey, buy that, buy that, buy that. Magazines. Why do people spend so much money on a full page ad? The football game, the baseball games. All right. Why are these people spending millions of dollars for commercials during football season, especially during the Super Bowl or the World Series or the NBA playoffs? Why?
To bait you to spend your money.
There you go. There you go. See, because the money spending habit is a hard habit to break. Just like the money saving habit is a hard habit to manufacture. It's a hard habit to develop. So we have to relearn. I'm give you a easy thing that I tell people to do. Cross your arms. Which way do you cross your arms? This hand is always up top. Now try to cross them the other way and you feel awkward. It's like, hold it, wait a minute. How do I do that? All right. So just simple things. We don't realize we are creatures of habit. So we had to realize we had some bad habits.
Bad habits spending, and to add to that, with how that comes to those habits, individuals that I've worked with, even in my sessions, they have habits, and some of them struggle with depression, some of them struggle with impulses, some of them struggle with mania, hypomania, and these symptoms cause them to feel guilty or shameful or stressed because of those bad habits of spending that I mentioned before. They end up becoming, having compulses and being compulsive or having these impulses. But it forms into a habit, and that habit transitions into a lifestyle. Right. And then all of a sudden I have to spend money to feel good if I feel bad. And then when I spend the money, then all of a sudden I have that buyer's remorse. I want to take it back, but it goes and it becomes cyclical, right? Just that spending of money, and then it ties into your mood and how you feel. Just like when you eat, if I feel bad, then I'm going to eat to feel better, but that doesn't necessarily make you feel better to the core. And so those habits are real. And so if a person gets to the point, and this is going to move me to my next question, the person gets to the point to where they get into these habits and all of a sudden they find themselves in debt, how would one begin to move the needle to do the things that's unconventional and antithetical to spending, which is that habit, and something that to break that cycle or that bad habit? How should one go about trying to find themselves out of debt, to pull themselves out of debt? And I know you mentioned budget was one, being wise and using wisdom. What are some other actionable steps a person can take to try to move themselves out of the red and into the black regarding moving out of debt?
I counsel people, and I suggest they go to counseling. And this is why. Because when people have, all right, if someone has too much money, they're just as bad as the person who doesn't have enough money. They still don't know what to do. All right. When that happens, they have developed a trust issue. Who do I trust? How can I trust you? I don't know you. People treat money as though money made them. And because of that, people guard themselves from divulging too much information. So I develop relationships with people. So then they will feel free to talk to me so I could know how to help them. Until they open up and tell me what's going on, where the money is going, I can't help them. People, you know what? People aren't honest, man. I'm just going to tell you straight up. When it comes down to helping people, they have to be up and open and honest and really want to help. I'm a professional. So when it comes to money matters, all that person's information is held in the strictest of confidence. Why? One, I don't want to lose my license. Two, brother don't want to go to jail. There's some laws in place, HIPAA laws, that's very strict, where I cannot divulge a person's information to anybody else. All right. And identify that person. Okay. I can tell stories, but I cannot identify that person. or describe them in any manner, fashion, or form. Now, how do I help people turn that curve? One is we talk about, we identify, we have to identify the habits. We have to identify where the money is going. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough. All right. Now I want to go back to something, if we can, for just a few quick seconds here. You know why people go to 401k and people take advantage of it on their job? Because they think they're going to get free money. All right. You know, years ago, the companies used to give pensions. A lot of companies have gotten away from pensions now. Instead, they give you a 401k. Why? Because they don't have to manage it. It's saving that company money. So that's one thing you have to understand about that. Did you know that a small business operation could open up their own 401k? I have a company that offers 401k and does not charge a fee. No fee involved. All right. So there's ways that people could protect their money and grow their money from a small business to an individual. The individual have to find out, and they have to open up. If they don't open up, I can't help. They have to be honest. You know, where's that money going? You know, I'll sit down with somebody and they'll tell me one thing. 3 weeks down the road, they add to their story. I said, whoa. I said, well, why didn't you tell me that before? That changes things. All right. And so I need the whole picture. But I understand, you know what? They don't know me from a hole in the wall. They don't know me. So they have to develop a trust, a relationship. You have to give that person the right information. All right. So how does one make actionable efforts? You have to know. First thing first, know where your money is going. Find somebody to help you to put the money in the right spot so your money is now making money for you. You want your money to make money for you. Money takes time to make money. It takes time for money to make money. There's no get rich quick thing. People throw their money, huh?
No, you say, and people throw their money where?
In the stock market, thinking, oh, I'm going to get rich. Oh, yeah, you could. All right. But you're also going to ride the waves. It's going to go up, down, sideways, and every other way. And whatever money you put in the stock market, you have to come to the point to where you know, hey, I'm going to put this money in there, but I don't need this money. If you're putting money in there you need, then you're going to get hurt. Because that money is going to make money, but it's going to lose money.
And that brings me to this point, because, you know, we have investments and we have savings. Mm-hmm. And there are so many people who are quick to say, oh, just invest. That is a word, that is a phrase, that's an adage that's being thrown around a lot. Just invest. Just invest your money. Just invest. But what do you invest in? What are the areas? What are some of the specifics, you know, and it's difficult to give that kind of advice, because nobody wants to take the hit to say, well, if you invest in here and then if you lose your money, then, you know, you have somebody fighting, crying and bad.
Yeah.
And so if they lose their money. And so you know, and the reason why I bring it up, because that's a thing that is being said and told and provided to people, saying invest. And so what are your thoughts on investments versus savings?
Brother, I'm glad you asked that. I recommend that everyone opens up a savings account. You're not going to earn any money in a savings account. Right now, they're paying less than 1% or a little bit more than 1%. But you have to develop what we call an emergency fund. You should have a checking account too. Why a checking account? Because a checking account, they'll give you that debit card and you'll have money readily available to you. All right. When you invest, you never want to invest with the mindset, well, if I need that money, I'll go take it out. That's not investing. That's savings. Put that money in a savings or a checking account. That's called an emergency fund money. What's an emergency fund for? Emergency fund is for an emergency, period. Not I'm going to the movies. That's not emergency fund. That's not an emergency. That's splurging. All right. When it comes to investing, I don't deal with stock now, but he said something very, very important. He said he would never put his money where he know he's going to lose it. That's very important to understand that. You don't put money that you want where you know you're going to lose it. So what do I recommend to people? Insurance is by far one of the safest places you could put your money. Not just any type of insurance. I always recommend an indexed account. Indexed account. Why? When you put your money in an indexed account, it is protected. You won't lose any money. Now, this is how it works. It is a compounding interest type of bearing account. It's going to compound. That interest is going to build. We teach all this in our workshops. And our workshops, again, are free. That interest is going to build. Someone said, what about an IRA? You mentioned the IRAs earlier, individual retirement accounts. Great. You can lose money in a regular IRA. All right. Brother, I know we're on a time element here. But
I
man, you got me all fired up, bro. You got me fired up.
I can see that. I definitely appreciate your fire and passion for the people and empowering and enlightening. And so what I want to do, I want to take a 30-second commercial break. And then once we come back from there, then we'll do the wheel deal. And then we're going to close out because we have to probably go to a part 2 on this at a later time. And so, but Mr. Murray, thank you so much. So stay right there. We're going to go to a commercial break. And I will be right back with you momentarily. Here we go, folks. And so stay tuned. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Hi, Living Family, and welcome back to another episode of episode 2 with MENDay Monday. I want to make a brief announcement to let you know that next Monday, which is the 19th, we're going to have Mr. James Harris on MENDay Monday. He is actually the founder and owner of Men to Heal, and he is going to come and talk about men and mental health. So that's going to be an awesome time where we're just going to talk, bounce back information back and forth, and he's going to give you insight from his experience as a veteran, as well as a clinical therapist who's licensed in the area of mental health, and discuss his experiences and provide insight, tips, and information on ways you can take care of your mental health. And the entire lineup consists of also Dr. Jamal Lawrence, who will be here on the 26th. And so please stay tuned, stay with us as we go through this series of MENDay Monday for the month of June. And not to mention, this is Father's Day month. Happy early Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. And this is also Juneteenth, which we will also, again, have Mr. James Harris on Juneteenth to talk about mental health with men. And lastly, men, take care of yourselves. This is also National Men's Health. If you have any issues, any problems, get tested, get checkups, and get your screenings, because it is very important. If you have not signed up for my newsletter, please do so at Live.Better.Now.net, where I provide all types of information to you for mental health and your physical health, which is very important. Lastly, sign up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Live.Better.Now. And you will also be able to catch this on a rebroadcast and get information that is needed for you and for your loved ones. So go ahead, like, share, subscribe. And also don't forget to mention comments. So comment, let me know your thoughts, and let me know the things that you would like to hear and things that you would like to see on the podcast show, because I think it's important to make sure that you are my partner in building this platform, because I want to provide things that you need, things that you care about, and things that you need to know. And without further ado, we're going to bring back our guest, Mr. Anthony Murray. Welcome back, Mr. Murray. We
Yes,
are
sir.
going to go ahead and get into the business of not the real deal, but the wheel deal. And then we're going to close out our episode of money and mental health in just a matter of minutes after the wheel deal. So the wheel deal is basically going to spin the wheel. We're going to ask you questions that you already know about yourself, just something for the audience and the listeners and viewers to get to know you. And so, are you ready, Mr. Murray?
I hope.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And so, give me one moment. I am going to go ahead and pull this up for us. And you will be able to see the wheel deal. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so, Mr. Murray, I want to ask you this. We're just going to go ahead and spin our wheel, and this is going to be the first question. First question. What is one thing you can't do without?
The love of my life.
The love of your life. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. That is awesome. That is awesome. Awesome. And so, yes, sir. And so we're only going to spin it 5 times. So we're just looking for 5 fun fact answers regarding Mr. Anthony Murray. So the love of your life is one thing that you cannot do without. So we're going to spin the wheel
34 years,
for
brother. 34 years, man.
34 years.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. Mr. Murray, congratulations on that. That is inspiring, that's uplifting, and that puts our belief system in a whole nother category. Because the thing about it, and I don't want to get into another segment, but a lot of people believe that a marriage cannot last that long, but it's a real thing, and it can. And so I'm going to do an episode on marriages, and we're going to be interviewing some guests on marriage and things like that. I think that's going to be important. So I'm going to move on to number 2 of the wheel deal. And your question is, you're stuck inside for 1 month and can only watch one sitcom. Which one would you choose? I like that laugh, by the way.
Man. Bill Cosby, man. Bill Cosby.
Classic. Come on, Mr. Murray. That's my show. I actually, when I was growing up, I actually thought that was a real family on television. And I was
So did I, man.
How can I get my family on TV like that family's on TV? So, yeah, the Cosby Show.
Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely.
Yes. They don't make those shows like that anymore.
No.
They have some, but, that one right there is that's classic. That's for the ages. So we're going to go with spin number 3 of the wheel deal. Let's see. The next question is, I'm not sure if you're into NBA basketball, but if you were, we know that the Miami Heat's down 3-1. Who would you choose to bring the NBA trophy home, the Vince Lombardi trophy? Is it Miami Heat or the Denver Nuggets?
Hey, look, I don't care about either one of them. But but let me say this. Between the two, I will go with Miami Heat on a strong comeback. I mean, I know they're down, but I will go with them on a strong comeback.
Yes, can't count them out. I knew it was a reason. I was like, let me get Mr. Murray in on this podcast show. I knew he was going to be rooting for the Miami Heat. All right. So let's get one more spin in. I think that was spin number 3. We got 2 more to go. This is the next question. Question number 4. Do you have any dad jokes inside you, Mr. Murray? Any dad jokes?
No.
No dad jokes.
I don't know of any dad jokes, man. I
Okay.
don't know of any dad jokes.
That's that's all right. Any jokes? Any jokes? Anything
Man,
funny?
listen. I tried to tell a joke. My wife tells me, she said, honey, stay with your day job. Stay with your day job.
We'll take that right now. That's joke enough for us. All right, last question of the wheel deal. Let's see, the last question. What three superpowers would you like to possess and why?
Wow. 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 That is a powerful question. One superpower, the power of wisdom. Why?
Power of wisdom. Okay.
Because wisdom will help you to make the right decision at the right time all the time.
Mm,
Second superpower, I would say, would be to uh, understanding, being able to understand all mysteries. If I could understand all mysteries, oh my goodness, brother. Woo! Yeah, that'd be powerful. All right, I could understand. The last superpower, if I could help, as many homeless people as possible, I'd do it. If I had a way, if I had a superpower where I could just help them get off the street, I'd do it.
wow. 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 That's awesome. I definitely appreciate that, Mr. Murray. That shows your heart, that altruism, wanting to be able to invest in others, to help out, and to seek out ways to be not just resourceful, but to be a source of help and inspiration. And so we appreciate you for being a part of this show today and tonight, Mr. Murray. We thank you so much. And before we let you go,
Thank you.
can you please let the viewers, the hearers, and the audience know where they can reach you and ways they can actually get their hands on the Saving Your Future PDF guide that you did mention?
Absolutely. They could text me at this number, 912-704-7044. It's an easy number. 912-704-7044. What I would need is their first name, their last name, and their email.
Okay. Okay. And we're going to
And
post that
I will
number up
send
for
that to
you.
them. My office is located in Rankin, Georgia. So I'm right here in Rankin, Georgia, right on the main road. Very easy office to find. I work by appointment, and I'll sit down with anybody, and help them out. If they want help, that brings me a lot of joy, knowing that I help them. Let's say they don't even have to buy an insurance policy. I mean, I make my living from selling things, but I I make my heart health by helping people. See, the legacy that I want to leave is, hey, that man helped me even though I couldn't pay him anything. He helped me, So I love helping people. It's simple. I just love helping people. One of my colleagues said to me, she's in another company, I still call her my colleague. She said, why don't you come on with me? I said, all the information you're giving people, you can get paid doing that if you come with me. I said, no, I'd rather do what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I'm located right in Rankin. What's the address? 272 South Columbia Avenue, Rankin. They could call me for that information if they want. I'll be more than happy to help them and do whatever I can to help them out.
We're going to make it easy for you, and we're going to post that as well so that they'll be able to see it down below on the screen, so that,
Awesome.
for those who are looking to be able to receive that assistance, because I think, again, it's vitally important that we have the education, which is a tool, right? And you mentioned before that it's a means, right? Money is a
Right.
means, and a lot of times, speaking of generational wealth, and I know we gotta close the show out, that we pass down, and I say this affectionately, we pass down our ignorance. Because our parents didn't know, the parents that they actually didn't know, and our great grandparents lacked that information. And I think for us to be able to have you and to access you this way, with your passion, with your love for empowering our people in the money department, because we a lot of us didn't have that, and a lot of us still have those bad habits that you mentioned. And we lack the know-how, right? And there's a quote that I'll say. Somebody said, give a person the tools they need, and they'll show you how ingenious or how ignorant they are.
Wow.
Just give them the tool. And I think that by you being able to be that resource and have that information and being resourceful helps our community to be able to gain the knowledge they need, not to be rich and wealthy, but to be able to know how to handle and be good stewards of the money that we get, whether we're working a 9-to-5 job, whether we're working part-time, whether we are, influencers and we have funds coming in, or we know how to deal with money. Because, and this is the thing I've realized, is that you can give a person all the money they want, but if they don't have the mind to manage the money, then they lose it anyway. Because that the mind is the reflection of the act, right?
That's right.
What you do is a reflection of how you think, how you function. And so I think that if you mismanaging money, that's because your thoughts about money is mismanaged. And so
those habits, man, those psychological habits are dangerous. And that's why money is not a legacy.
Wow.
You have to leave more than that. Money is good. It's better to have it than not to have it. But you know what? If you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't know what to do with it,
I want to show it for our people. I want to be able to be present and give them the tools and information they need. And I think that it takes, and I love quotes and I love reading. Many hands make light work. And I think that as we all put our hands together and become that network, then we'll be able to increase our net worth. And so I know we can talk and we can go on, and I know the show, will continue. And so we're going to have you back again.
Wonderful. Anytime,
Mr. Murray, because I think that there will be a lot of questions that need to come forth, and there will be a lot of information that you have. It seems like you're an infatigable well of information and knowledge, and I appreciate that. So again, thank you so much. We're gonna put up again your contact information so that others can reach you at the number below, which is 912-704-7044, located in Rincon, Georgia. And that address is 727 South Columbia Avenue in Rincon, Georgia. So again, Mr. Murray, we appreciate you and your knowledge and for sharing your thoughts here on the show, Counseling for the Culture, Counsel Culture, with myself and also those who view and hear us. And we look forward to having you on again. And to those who are listening, thank you so much for hearing us. Thank you for your views. And we will touch bases right after the show. Mr. Murray, again, thank you. And we look forward to having you back. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We look forward to having you all again. Stay tuned again for episode 3, which airs on next Monday with Mr. James Harris of MENDay Heal. This is your host, your licensed professional counselor, and the therapist with Live.Better.Now, Counsel Culture, also known as Counseling for the Culture. Stay lifted, stay safe, and stay tuned.
Better now, living better now. However, living better now. Better now. However, living better now. Living better now. Living better now. Living better now. However, living better now. Living better now. However, living better now. Better now. However, living better.